Good evening. You're joining the State of Business with me, Nishani Piguera. Let's first take a look at the stories that made headlines tonight. Another round of US-Sri Lanka trade discussions held. And Deputy Minister Wickramaratne says reforms should benefit common man. The 26th annual Facets Gem and Jewellery exhibition inaugurated at the BMICH this morning. President Maithripala Sirisena was a chief guest at the inauguration ceremony. Over 200 local and foreign exhibitors are showcasing their products at the exhibition, which will continue until Sunday. This show will also feature specialized exhibits by gem dealers, exporters, wholesalers and retailers. US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Atul Keshap says political changes in Sri Lanka have created new trade and investment opportunities within the country. He said this speaking at the inaugural session of the Joint Council meeting of the US-Sri Lanka Trade and Investment Agreement.
The US-Sri Lanka Trade and Investment Agreement is aimed at boosting trade and investment between the two countries.
We have progressed well, and now we are getting ready to discuss a concrete action plan to further our bilateral trade and investment relations, which I am sure will help Sri Lanka immensely. As is well known, our two countries have very productive bilateral relations over 7 decades. The US continues to be our largest export market. In the year 2015, we exported 2.8 billion worth of goods and services to USA.
Since the election of the current government in 2015, Sri Lanka has made important progress on democratic rights, reconciliation, rule of law, and freedom of expression. These changes have created new trade and investment opportunities between Sri Lanka and the rest of the world, laying the foundation for new markets, new industries, and new jobs. Indeed, Sri Lanka is showing the world how reconciliation and economic growth can go hand in hand.
Speaking further, Ambassador Atul Keshap said that his country wants to take steps to deepen bilateral trade partnership with Sri Lanka.
The United States has a number of ongoing assistance programs to help attract additional investments and further improve Sri Lanka's business climate. To highlight a few, the U.S. Department of Commerce trains Sri Lankan officials in the judiciary, energy sector, and tourism industry, while the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, provides assistance to small and medium-sized enterprises to grow the economy and create durable and sustainable jobs, and helps support the development of rural agriculture and rural economic upliftment through improved techniques and enhanced access to markets.
In more news tonight, Deputy Minister Iran Wickramaratne says the broad objective of reforms should be to ensure that the common man has a better life. The Deputy Minister of Public Enterprise Development said this speaking at the Central Bank's 66th anniversary celebrations event last afternoon.
The goal of reform is to strengthen the sustainability of whatever that's being done, to increase efficiency and to strengthen governance. I think all these need to be achieved with reform. But the wider goal of reform is for the common man to have a better life. And that's really the wider goal of everything we undertake. We cannot depend on the judgment of a person, and therefore we need to have an institutionalized process. But I would also like to ask the question that many of us who talk about this need to reflect on our own institutions. And if we really believe in these principles, we must also practice it. It's not good enough talking about it.
The State of Business will return with more news after this short break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the State of Business. The 37th annual conference of the CA Sri Lanka will be held in Colombo in October. More details with regard to the annual conference was disclosed at a recent media conference.
This conference is expected to attract around 1,500 corporate leaders, including chartered accountants. The main objective of this year's annual conference is to stimulate unleashed thinking to promote entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship among Sri Lankans. CA Sri Lanka said it will help the business leaders to maximize their potential,
which will ultimately reflect on the country's economy. As a country that belongs to the fastest growing region, there is no doubt that we as a nation can take great advantage of this growth momentum. As a country, we have great potential to be a global player, but reaching our true potential takes a lot of hard work and innovation.
Health ministers of the 11 member countries of the World Health Organization's Southeast Asia region are meeting in Colombo tomorrow. The WHO Regional Committee meeting aims to set health priorities for the region, home to nearly a quarter of the world's population. Non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer and chronic respiratory diseases, which kill nearly 8.5 million people every year and are the leading cause of deaths in the region, will be a key agenda at the 69th WHO Regional Committee meeting. Accelerating improvements in the health in the era of sustainable development goals with the focus on the most vulnerable will be another key agenda of the meeting. The Regional Committee meets annually and is hosted by one of the 11 member countries of the WHO Southeast Asia region. We'll be back with the stock update after this short break. Welcome back to the show. Shares ended stronger for the day as indices closed on positive grounds. The all share price index gained 12.08 points to close at 6,540.29, while the S&P SL 20 gained 12.51 points to close at 3,597.65. Turnover for the day amounted to 588.2 million rupees, with 20.2 million shares being traded. The top traded counters for the day were Ceylon Tobacco, Ceylon Grain Elevators, John Hughes Holdings, Texture Jersey and Axis Engineering. Foreigners ended the day as net buyers on equities, with interest seen on John Hughes Holdings and Ceylon Tobacco. Foreign inflows amounted to 168.6 million rupees, whilst foreign outflows totaled 89.8 million rupees. And now it's time to take a look at the day's forex rates. And that's all the news we have for you tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Until then, thank you for watching. Good night.